Hi, hello, it's the last show. Forever. Forever and ever. This is the last time we're doing this. Uh, the Fantasy Critic 2020 Week in Review 6. And after this, we're sneaking off to my Discord and just doing it in Discord once a month so that Eve and I can pursue our true passion of actually being productive on Wednesday nights.
Maybe.
What? What do you mean, maybe?
Nothing? Yeah!
Don't you maybe me?
Of course we're gonna be productive.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, maybe I'm gonna stop you from being productive on Wednesday nights.
I would never.
You did. You
What?
absolutely did.
I
That's
don't
how we
know.
ended up doing that. I was
No.
like, I can't make
No.
anything. You're intentionally being distracting when you don't want to work. So
No.
let's just do this instead.
So the first game on our list.
I see this is a sore subject for you, and maybe you don't want to talk about it. Yeah. I did learn something. My VTuber avatar, I can like accessorize it now. I was thinking about giving myself a moustache for tonight,
Oh.
or like a bow. Yeah, like I don't know. Can you see the stream?
Let me go.
This is a blanket. This is a slice of bread. It's a
Oh yeah. I have to go to YouTube. It looks like YouTubing.
Well, hang on. Here we are. I'll just
No, it's too late. I'm clicking.
Okay, I was just gonna stream it on Discord, and then you just be able to see. See, look at this. Al's beautiful pink moustache that does not track doesn't track my head properly.
It's
Isn't
beautiful.
that amazing?
You know, if you put the mustache on me, it'll track perfectly.
Yeah, because your thing is not rigged and animated. Anyway, there we go. Because it doesn't. If it tracked, I'd maybe consider keeping it, but like it not tracking properly is no bueno. As opposed to very bueno. I guess this also means that I'm gonna have to like get the stream because I wasn't running my stream before, so it won't actually be. Oh no, it will be because of the way it's set up now. Let's at least make sure that the sheet of all the games is there. And what is our first game, Eve? You have the whole.
So here it says the Waylanders, which came out on the 2nd.
Yes. This is just based on the bot, when the bot decided it was going to tell us that it had come out on the 2nd, which was a while after the 2nd, because otherwise it should have been in last week's block, I believe. Or did it come out? Oh, it came out exactly on the Wednesday, so probably that update was whilst we were doing our stream last week.
On Steam, its reviews are mostly negative, and all reviews or recent reviews are mostly negative, and all reviews are mixed. Not sounding good for Waylanders. It certainly looks mid.
Wow, this looks like it's made in like an old game engine.
Takes only a moment.
It's playable.
This is a different time. Filled with castles and high stone walls.
I think that if your game environments are not that impressive, you shouldn't,
in honor of a god you do not know,
spend over a minute of your trailer slowly panning through them.
Swiftly punished.
I just think the inside of this church is kind of nice looking, but everything else has been
while
slip the
magic
bonds of
hides in
fate
mountain
in
caves
this
and
third
deep
party
forests.
or party-based RPG filled with Celtic myth and historic legend. Discover thrilling
Away
adventures
from
alongside
mortal
mortal
eyes.
companions and immortal allies as you explore the
Where
world
will
of
you go,
Waylanders.
Torchbearer, to continue your story?
Does this
Where
actually
will
have
you
does this
seek
trailer have any
your lost
gameplay in? No,
companions?
it's just a narrative trailer. Does this have?
Did you hear that?
I felt it.
This game
We all
sounded
did.
so good. RTWP party based. It really could have been mega, but the quality is not ready for sale. I won't refund, but only out of pity.
By the Celts! Long live the king! Destroy
Oh
them!
yeah, apparently it's buggy as shit.
Yeah, the whole thing just like
All Galicia.
looks kind of jank, and not the fun kind of jank, the like gross kind of jank. Okay, we got Dying Light. You know that game. It's not important, right?
I don't think anyone cares about Dying
It
Light.
has 500 hours of content, or so
Ryan
I've heard.
looked over at me, so offended.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's like a fun video game.
It was sarcasm.
I'm sure it's a fun video game, but I have it
Ryan's
pegged
doing
as
stuff. Oh, he clicked it.
I have it pegged as a game I'll play for like I'd sit down and play it for like 60 to 80 hours, and then the end be like, that sure was a video game.
Yeah, Ryan's really enjoying it.
Yeah, I like
That's-
that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's gonna be a bad game. I mean,
Yeah.
Open Critic doesn't think it's a bad game.
specifically said that because Ryan was standing right next to me.
You were just being an old troll, basically, a little gremlin.
Exactly. We've
It's
definitely talked about Suckers for Love before.
yes, we did. It's the only thing is that it's out now, but it does
75 points.
not have enough reviews to.
Oh, it doesn't have
place...
reviews. Oh.
No, wait, it does. It does. It has
Okay.
75 points. It's something else that doesn't have enough reviews. Might be. We have Blade Assault, which did we?
I don't think we've talked about it.
No, we have not talked about this game. I wish people would stop doing this. Like, just having that game come out of fucking nowhere.
The animations look pretty good.
Yeah. I feel like this is gonna
Mostly
be.
positive reviews on Steam.
I feel like it's one of those games that's gonna have like good platforming and fighting mechanics, but for me, there's gonna be like too much going on screen. In fact, I'm like looking at all these big text dumps about what all the different items and things do.
Apparently, it doesn't have all of the playable characters available yet.
Okay. Did they maybe say they were going to do a lot of stuff in early access and then realize they couldn't do it all?
I'm not too sure. Somebody reviewed saying no reason to didn't play this game, 90 out of 100.
I will say it looks like a sort of roguelite game to me.
Yeah, somebody just said good roguelike. I like it.
Okay. Something feels like slightly off about the character animations, like they're animated on the wrong frames or something. That little thing of the guy bobbing, he was just like bobbing in like a really weird pattern. I don't know what it is.
Somebody said everything Blade Assault does has done better by another game.
I mean, that definitely sounds about right. I had my first good run at Skull the Hero Slayer
Oh, nice.
yesterday. I get that game now. I didn't realize its cool mechanic, which is that you can have multiple skulls and swap between them. And certain skulls, when you swap, it unleashes like a cool, powerful move. So you're incentivized to like mix
swap a
up your
lot.
attacks like in Devil May Cry,
Oh, okay.
and like think about how you're going to chain everything together to like use all your best skills as frequently as possible. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm kind of getting into this. Also, I got a run where I managed to make it past like the first mini boss in the game, which is never a good feel when you're like, I have to play a game for nearly an hour to get through the fourth area with a mini boss in.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm starting to get it now. The game just does a very bad job of explaining itself. Yeah, the Crusader Kings 3 DLC is out. It has a high average, but not enough reviews to actually have a score yet.
Mm.
It's weird. I swear, did we not? Do we not have somebody?
If anybody, it's probably Ryan. Fantasy Critic League.
Uh, uh,
Which one was
oh
it?
yeah.
The 17?
It was Comrade. Papa John's
Oh.
third year of reckoning. Oh, you get the Hourglass icon now for needs more reviews.
Mm.
Um, so I think it would be fair to assume that they have between 12 and 15 points in the bag from that DLC, unless it doesn't get another single review at all
Mhm.
ever. But those two reviews are from major outlets. They're not like small boy reviews. They're big boy. They're big nasty boy reviews. It's like IGN and something. So yeah. Open critic link. In fact, I could check. Yeah, IGN and I guess Game Watchers is not so major, but yeah. Ollie Ollie World came out. I got sweet 15.5 points.
It looks pretty good.
Ollie Ollie World. Yeah, I got the original Ollie 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 Ollie. Um, it's the controls are totally different to all other skating games.
Mm.
But like it generate like the controls just generate a good feeling when you get going. Um, oh, this trailer is like 7 minutes. Oh, it's a review. I want a trailer. And yeah, I think they just keep iterating on it. I really like the Ollie Ollie world. There's like multiple routes through the levels and NPCs and stuff. It has a little bit of the like everything's like a little crazy. I think it's going to be a good Twitch title as well.
Yeah, that would probably make sense.
The original Ollie Ollie, each level was like a couple of minutes to play through, so it's a nice like mobile game as well.
Fun and addictive. Just one more run.
I like that frog NPC.
Yeah, I would definitely add this onto my like I would like to play this at some point list. That came out.
That
May 7th.
came out on the 7th, so 2 days ago. Sifu's out. It's 79.2 points. As predicted, as I predicted, there are at least 2 reviews that docked it points for being culturally insensitive. But looks like a fun video game.
Not on Steam.
Yeah. Breakout Recharge, which was the Breakout game that we looked at, and I was like, this Breakout remaster, like this is the best you could think to do.
No user reviews yet on Steam.
Its critics reviews it would already lost you 10 points Just at the critic
Wow.
reviews, it's 59.3. It's not good. And then another low-scoring game is Life is Strange Remastered Collection, which I thought for sure was going to be a shoe-in for like, a good 75
Oh yeah,
solid
65.
points. Maybe it's like a bad port. Maybe
Is
it's a
that
bad
on a specific
collection.
console?
No. It has 4 reviews, and most of them are pretty mediocre. Um, yeah, so the low reviews are saying it's buggy. And apparently some of the graphical improvements actually make it look worse.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's mostly a bugs issue. And then
Okay.
some people are saying the original Life is Strange is the best bit of this collection, which is probably true. Aside from the stupid puzzles in the first 2 chapters and the last chapter.
Yeah, the original Life is Strange is my favorite out of the ones I've played.
I think like chapters 2 through 4 of that game are great, and like half of chapter 5. Until you get into like the weird sequence where they just like added a bunch of gameplay so that you'd have stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it has a really cool finale, I think. Um,
Lost Ark.
yeah, this is the Korean MMO. We can't bid on it because it's going to be a free-to-play game. So
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's only been open.
Apparently it's overwhelmingly positive reviews on Stem.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about how it's good. It's a Diablo-esque,
K-pop Diablo with better multiplayer and endgame.
but I think it's like more action orientated, like designed to be played with a
I've got
controller.
I got my driver's license, married my wife, bought a house and a car, adopted 2 cats while waiting for this game since its announcement. Recommended.
I find like the art style in this game is really unexciting to me.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to be able to play Lost Ark.
Like, I don't know, there's this thing about like generically spiky fantasy creatures.
Yeah. Oh, she looks cool.
It's like it's like trying too hard to look cool. You know? But I guess that's like the cool Korean game aesthetic. I don't know. Don't. Yeah. Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings out today.
On the
Uh,
Swatch.
yeah,
That's about it. That's what we have
yeah.
to say about that.
Uh,
Grapple
Grapple
Dog. We
Dog's
looked into that
out.
before.
Yeah, 77 points. I'm gonna get around to playing it at some point. It's Grapple Dog. It's a dog that can grapple. It has nice looking movement mechanics. What more can you ask for?
What the fuck is Getsu
Okay,
Fuma?
so this is the thing when they were doing this is from Nintendo Direct.
I
And
don't remember seeing
they
that.
showed a tiny amount of gameplay from it in the thing where they were showing
Okay.
like the sequence of all the different games. It looks like that side-scrolling
Oh, I've
game.
seen this. I've seen a trailer for this before. I'm super into it.
It's yeah, for me it looked familiar of that Vanillaware side-scrolling game, but it has a
Yes.
different. The aesthetic's kind of different. It's not like the Vanillaware, like everything
Yeah,
is
I don't like the
beautifully
way the
illustrated.
movement looks in the game, to be honest, but I like that it's all about yokais and stuff.
I like that they're trying to create the overall look of like those old Japanese prints, like the Hokusai, the wave art style. I don't know, I just enjoy it when any game just tries something bold. but also this last year the genre of game that I turned on and decided I didn't care for anymore was the like crafting survival world exploration games. I think I blame Valheim for doing that to me. And I think this year it's like action platformers that are about combo-based combat. The thing I'm gonna look at the game and be like, oh my god, this again? Actually,
I just
yeah,
think
we
the
went
movement
to...
looks really clunky, and I would probably get frustrated with it.
But yeah, I do feel like Nintendo Direct did this game a dirty by just like not talking about it at all. They showed like a snippet of gameplay from it, and that was it. They didn't even say what the name of the game was in the Direct.
Kingdom Hearts
Yes, all three Kingdom Hearts
collections.
collections. Right, I was going to say they're not trilogies because it's like 1 and 1.5 and 2 and 2.8 and 3 and I don't fucking know. It's
Yeah,
something.
it's if you want to play it, guys. If you want to play Kingdom Hearts on your Switch, you can do that tomorrow.
But you have to stream it. You can't
Yeah, you
play
do.
it. You have to stream it.
I do believe you can purchase them. Like, I do believe you can actually purchase them. They're just also available as
What?
cloud.
I thought it was cloud only.
I mean, maybe, but I think it's optional.
This game requires internet connection to play.
Okay. Okay, never mind then.
It's literally the Switch literally can't render it. It can't do it.
Oh, okay.
You're just like streaming the video from a renderer that can handle it. River City Girls Zero, a game I didn't even know was coming out.
I mean, I like River City Girls. It's pretty fun. I haven't played a whole lot of it, but this one is more of that one, but also now you can play as some sexy boys too,
Okay.
which I think you can play as their boyfriends essentially.
Well, not exactly new.
But I thought games started with the number 1, then went to 2.
It's our very first adventure together, released way back in 1994.
Whoa, that's hecka old. How come I never heard about it?
It was only released in Japan until now.
Looks like it was called Shin Naketsu Koha Kunio Tachi no Banka.
I heard Kunio's name in there, so I like it.
But now it's translated into English?
Yep. And it's got
Oh,
anime,
so
title song, manga cutscene.
they've like demade the graphics to make it look more like the prequel to River City Ransom.
Check out this classic Kunio-kun adventure, ported to modern consoles for the first time.
Will you hurry up already?
River City Girls Zero, available.
Sure, okay.
Interesting.
Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection, probably going to be the best way to play Assassin's Creed 2.
Probably.
Don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2, the Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy is the second...
Brotherhood and Revelations are the other.
Yeah, is the second best Assassin's Creed game after Black Flag. I think Black Flag's...
Okay, but how have you played? So I haven't played any of the new ones. But I hear that Origins was like a new revitalizing the series, and
Yeah, they revitalized the series with RPG mechanics.
and I've actually
RPG
heard
mechanics?
torn things. I've heard torn things between Valhalla. Like, a lot of people really like it, but a lot of other people do not.
I think that I've not played any of the new games, so here's my like pretty lukewarm take, because you know it's on the basis of nothing, because I've not played the new games. I have no plans to play the new games. Assassin's Creeds take like a bajillion hours to finish, and like 75% of the gameplay is doing the same stuff but like slightly differently.
Yeah.
But my take is probably that the newer Assassin's Creeds are pretty fun, like maybe potentially more fun video games that do not that aren't trying to fulfill the promise of the original Assassin's Creed, of like the original game of like be a cool assassin and sneak up and sneakily assassinate people. Um, so I'd be like, Black Flag was the best delivery on that promise. Um, whilst actually mostly being about sailing around and collecting sea shanties and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe the other Assassin's Creed games where they've gone in like a different direction and really revitalized the franchise are really cool and fun and original video games, and I'm a total fool for not playing them.
So, A Voice of Cards: The Forsaken Maiden is a sequel to A Voice of Cards.
What? I thought the Voice of Cards was just the card game.
Yeah, The Isle of the Dragon's Roar, which
Okay.
came out on the 28th.
Do you think like the date should be for like next year?
No, I don't. It's
No, it says the Forsaken Maidens 17th of February 2022.
what the fuck? I mean, it's a very simplistic game. I can understand how they could pump them out so fast. Like, basically, you just need someone who can draw some nice art, and then you just do the more of the same. Cookies?
So
Are you bringing me cookies? No cookies yet?
Dragon Roar came out on the 28th of October, so it's only been 6 months, and I guess the sequel is out now. Do you think it was just it's basically episodic? It's
Oh,
like
that could be it.
dot hack where they were intending to make X games back to back, and they're just doing it. I didn't actually like. I feel like the Voice of Cards is a thing I want to check out.
There was a demo on the Switch. I don't know if there is still a demo available for it. I do really want to play it.
It doesn't say anything about their plans for like the Voice of Cards franchise.
Nope. I mean, isn't it fucking Yoko?
It is Yoko.
Who knows? Yoko probably has fucking a dartboard, like 30 dartboards that he throws things at to see what he's gonna do.
It's Yoko Taro, but I don't think it's not part of the Drakengard series.
As far as you know. Fucking in like 3 years, he's gonna be like, "Psych! It was the origin story."
No. When stuff is part of the Yoko Taro metaverse, there's always something in the game that clearly indicates that it's part of the Yoko Taro metaverse.
Okay.
It's like the disease in Nier. Also, if you don't want Nier spoilers or Drakengard 2 spoilers, close your ears now. The disease in Nier 2 that kills everyone is from the end of Drakengard 2. You literally see it kill a bunch of people in the end of Drakengard 2 by turning them into salt.
But I'm gonna put a pause right there. That's only one of the many endings, and I don't think it's the main ending.
Yes, but the connection is there. There's not nothing in the two games that connects them together, and then later Yoko Taro is like, but it's actually
I just
the
mean
same
about
thing.
you saying worry about spoilers. It's not actually the main ending of that game, just so y'all know.
No, it was more that revealing that a disease killed everyone in Nier. That was the spoiler that I was more concerned about. It's like a really minor spoiler, but I'm trying to
Final
be
Fantasy
good. But I just 6, yeah. I just got to speak in defense of my boy Yoko Taro. He doesn't tend to retroactively
Ah, okay.
pretend that things were supposed to be connected, unlike certain people.
So Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster is just one of those, one of the many Pixel Remaster port thingies coming out, right? Hi,
Yep.
Simon.
Hi, Simon. Oh, you can only watch the trailer that's like all of them.
That's fine. We don't
Yeah.
need to deep dive. It's fucking Final Fantasy VI.
I'm just like, I'm curious as to. Oh, they don't have any things that show the difference between it and the original game. There's only this video. Okay.
Okay.
Never mind. Then it's not. I don't care enough.
Ghost on the Shore. What the
Okay,
fuck is
we're
this?
clear. We're clear of games that are already out and ports and whatever else, what have you. I guess remasters are remasters, right? You could, you could, you could put your money on Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster if you wanted. Final Fantasy VI is a pretty fucking good video game. It's one of the top, top 5 best Final Fantasies. Say that.
I like how you're thinking about this.
Well, no,
later,
because
Nifty, later, we're going to do a tier maker. But don't worry about it right now.
well, if it can't be a tier maker if it's top whatever, right? It just
I don't
has
care.
to be
Tier maker
a
later.
numerated list. Okay.
And
Okay.
also, that's not 100% true. You just make the tier maker, and then the ones on the
You
top
make-
are your top.
You make as many tiers as there are. Okay, fine. It's not really a tier list if you have one item on each row.
No, we can discuss it later. We'll talk about the tier
Okay.
list later.
Ghost on the Shore.
Looks like hot garbage, to be honest.
The logo looked cool.
Okay, it doesn't look that bad. It just doesn't. I will probably never play this game or think about it after we talk about it.
A Lost Soul.
You need to leave.
So this is like a weird thing. I'm like looking at the environments in this game, and like the fidelity is worse than that other game we were looking at that was scored badly. But
An exploration game about the emotional ties that transcend even death. Riley is faced with a headstrong ghost urging her on an adventure across the atmospheric shores. Uncovering the island's tragic secret, choices and dialogue shape the bonds between the two, ultimately deciding Riley's fate.
But yeah,
I'd rather just play What Remains of Edith Finch.
I feel more desire to explore these environments than the one in the other game. The other game's environments just like looked boring.
What did you do?
I didn't do.
But yeah, it looks like Fantasy Tacoma. Which, by the way, if you've not played Tacoma, you should play Tacoma. I think it's the closest I've had to playing a video game that is basically a movie. It just feels like it has that tight little movie plot, but you're playing through the main role in it. Okay, Little Orpheus. What is this? It's an Apple Arcade game. It looks like a runner, which is that's like a dated idea. In 1962, NASA trying to put a man on the moon in a remote corner of Siberia. A cosmonaut was going the opposite direction.
But this had better be good.
I like the art.
I like the music.
Oh, it has demo. You should bring me more cookies.
It looks like some cinematic pieces split up by some, I don't know, okay side-scrolling adventure game mechanics.
The developers, the Chinese room.
Apparently, the commentary is very good. Like
Oh,
the
interesting.
voice in it. I hope it if it's like what was the Metal Gear Solid game? The funny Metal Gear Solid game where
You
it'd
mean
be
the
like you'd be
the
like
jokey one?
yeah like tell me about the noose.
Unmetaled.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe it's something like Unmetaled where they're asking you questions about the thing that you are recounting. I don't know. This looks fun if you know.
I've added it to my wish list because I'm interested in it.
Conan Chop Chop.
Coming soon.
It's a Funcom game.
A brand new Conan experience.
Oh,
Conan Chop Chop.
tell me you're trying to be that one game with 4 players
Witness the
with the 4
blood-spattering
colors
violence
without
of
telling me you're playing that
ultra-violent
one
high-res
game.
gore of the world of Conan the Cimmerian Barbarian like you've never seen before. An epic tale.
I think it's Castle
Badass
Crashers.
versus
Yes.
badass. Conan Chop Chop. 9 billion randomly generated dungeons. So random
It
you may find your own soul trapped in a
looks
from the future.
more like
Experience Conan's massive biceps in 12K 360 degree virtual reality. Fight together Bellet, Palantir,
Binding of Isaac.
massively multiplayer shared screen experience. Conan, Chop Chop. Use
But it's
fighting
like a
combos
4-player
to swing
game.
left, then right.
yeah.
Eye of the Storm mode pits
Oh,
2,000
okay.
players against each other in a fight to the death as the sandstorm closes around you. Conan, Chop Chop. It's
I-
hot. Chop Chop. It's cool. Chop Chop. It's steamy. Conan, Chop Chop. Coming to every platform in the multiverse.
Looks okay, I guess.
I had fun watching that trailer. Beholder 3. I think this is going to be real Dark Horse
there it is, yeah.
title. I think we already watched the trailer for this. This is the thing where you spy on your neighbors.
I think I was into it.
Yeah. You spy on your neighbors, you report them to the government. But like you want to secretly report them without being found out and letting your neighbors get suspicious of you because then they might report you to the government. Triangle Strategy. They announced. I think this date was already announced, right? The March 4th date, and they were just like,
I
"Hey, you
think
can
they were
play."
announcing a demo, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, "You can play all this shit. You can play the first 3 chapters in the demo."
I mean, I might just go and do that.
I'm gloriously indifferent to this game because the bits of the games that this team made that I really like are like the fast-paced bits of the game, and turning it into a strategic isometric game, and especially given how much story and dialogue was in Octopath, is making me feel like it's going to be so slow. It's going to have all the stuff, more of the stuff I didn't like in. It'll probably be a pretty good game because Octopath was a pretty good game. It looks nice. Grand Theft Auto 5 is getting a port to PS5 and Xbox on March 15th. I sleep. Kirby in the Forgotten Land. You can be
I want this game so bad.
You can be a car now. You can be a traffic cone.
Like, you don't turn into the car, like, you don't get car powers. You
No,
just,
you
like,
just swallow
put
the
your
whole
mouth
car.
over it.
You just swallow the whole car and you become like a car
literally
hat.
vor it.
Yes. Yes, you do.
I need this game.
Um,
It's so dumb looking. I need it.
I'm
glad I bid on it.
I really like that some of the things you can vor, the powers that they give you just don't they have nothing to do with the object you've consumed. The thing where he's flying, he's just like an arch. Like what? What is happening? But yeah, it's
I will play this game 100%. I hope we have it pre-ordered. Ryan.
It's the Kirby. It's not like open world, but you can collect the dudes. And
Kirby Forgotten Island or Forgotten Land.
Forgotten Land. You can collect the dudes and bring them back to town and make your worldly town bigger.
I've never wanted to play Kirby games so much in my life.
Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition. Chrono Cross is a good video game. It's not as...
It's a remaster, I believe.
Yes, it is, and it's also coming with Radical Dreamers, which fucking everyone should just play that game. Everyone should play that game, because it is one of the only like visual novels that feels properly like a video game. It has like a combat system in it in the visual novel. It has certain puzzles where like you have to make choices in the visual novel quickly enough whilst the like you're running against a real-time clock.
Okay.
Whilst you're doing the puzzle, there's like a room that's filling with water, and if you can't work out the puzzle by making choices to stop the room filling with water, you die.
I've never played it.
It has good music. Yeah, I played a little bit of it like 4 or 5 years ago. It's cool. It's cool for the same reason that Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger is cool. That they do interesting stuff. And and Chrono Trigger overall is just like a really supremely well designed game.
Advanced War 1-2 Boot Camp. We thought this was releasing last year.
Yeah, but it has a proper date now, and then Jim can get the just desserts for counterpicking against me. I'm gonna learn. If you touch fire, you get burned.
Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. It's on every platform, and now it's on every platform plus the Switch.
I just need to check something real good.
The fuck
Real
is Zombie
quick.
Army 4?
Zombie Army 4 is Zombie Army 4. There's been three.
Thanks.
There's been 3 other Zombie Army games, and Zombie Army 4 is the 4th one. It's just like you know how Call of Duty's had its like zombie mode, and other shooters have had the like it's a first-person shooter, but the enemies are zombies instead of Nazis.
It looks like you play as oh no.
Yeah, imagine if like instead of it being a side mode to a
Oh,
first
there's a
person
zombie Hitler.
Yes. It looks like it's already out on Steam.
Yeah.
Sorry. It support it. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
It looks like whatever.
Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. The graphics looked so bad.
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know.
they probably took the Wii one and shoved it
Yeah,
on the Switch.
they did say it was the Wii one and shoved it on the Switch when they were talking about it.
Oh.
It's so that game was on like the PS2, right?
Yeah, PS3.
PS3, yeah.
PS3, Xbox 360. I think you can fucking get it on the Nintendo DS.
Okay. Right, Switch Sports. This is probably, well,
It's actually kind of exciting because it's like the Wii Sports actual sequel opposed to Wii Sports Resort, which was a sequel but not Wii Sports 2.
Was it Wii Sports Resort, right? Was the
It was Wii Sports Resort, and now Nintendo Switch Sports. So with Star Wars, it was on the iOS, the J2ME. I don't know what that means. Wait. Java. Oh, okay. Java platform, Microsoft edition. The N-Gage. It was on the N-Gage. The Nintendo DS, PlayStation 2 and 3, PlayStation Portable, the Wii, the 360, Windows, Mac, and now the Nintendo Switch. What are you looking at?
I'm looking for, there we go. Wii Sports Resort got an 80, and Wii Sports got
people love the Wii Sports.
76. So, yeah, sorry, two separate things, because the thing you are talking about was my second thing, which is like, as a game in the Switch library, it's super sick decision by Nintendo. One of the things that made people go out and buy the Wii was so that you could play Just Dance with your family because they understood how to play Just Dance. Your family also understand how like fucking bowling and tennis work. So it's much easier to have those kind of games around to be like, oh, let's play this game that everyone understands. You wave controllers around like an idiot. That's cool. So I think as like trying to sell copies and make Nintendo a shit ton of money, this is a really good game. And I think if you have people around that you like to do group stuff together, it's going to be a good game to have to be like, yeah, let's just play some Switch sports.
I mean, I know for a fact that it's gonna sell really well, and then in like 5 to 10 years, I'm gonna have 1 million copies in my store.
I mean, is that what the problem you have with Wii Sports or Wii Sports
I
Resort?
mean, not Wii Sports Resort. Wii Sports Resort is actually kind of hard to keep on my shelves, but Wii Sports, yes, because it came with like every fucking Wii. There's like a ridiculous amount of them.
The thing I did not like about Switch Sports was the really small tease where they were like, you can use the leg strap from Ring Fit. And I'm like, you can announce a game I can use the other Ring Fit controller with? No.
Maybe there'll be an update in the future.
No, I want another game that uses the Ring Fit controller. I know
Good
it's
luck.
Yeah, I know there's no business case for it, and it's like a really dumb thing. I was considering looking around to see if anyone had made a like open source library so I could make my own game that used the those controllers. Because like the fucking Switch controllers are just Bluetooth, right? So you can like pair them with a computer and use them with a computer, which means you could have a Unity game that was compatible with the Ring Fit ring. You could do it if you're determined like me.
Warhammer 40K
40,000.
Chaos Gate.
Demon Hunt. There's like a double subtitle in here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be great, and people who like Warhammer will like it.
Here we go. Gameplay overview. I'm just gonna skip. Oh, it's a tactics. It's a tactics game.
A Tic Tacs game.
Yeah, it looks like very XCOM-y.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't.
2 Point Campus. It is a port.
Yeah. We already talked about 2 Point Campus. This is a game that I think was announced whilst we were doing the stream last week, because it wasn't on the list, but was overlapping with games we'd already talked about. Love, Money, Rock and Roll. It's a
visual novel?
Looks like it.
You can go to places night and day.
These environments are like really nice looking for a visual novel.
Yeah.
Oh, and the characters are like...
actually have animations.
Yeah. They're not going to be able to move their heads more than a certain amount, though. Or orientate their arms in certain awkward orientations.
It's still pretty impressive compared to what I'm used to.
Yeah, I love that they have done a bunch of animations for this that are awkward, right? Like, especially having a character move their hands from the front of their body to the back of their body in one animation movement, or having them, like, adjust their their arrangement of their hands a lot.
Either way, if I was into visual novels, I'd probably be into this.
I love that proper fucking anime trope of she like goes to punch and her hand gets grabbed.
Yeah. Demon Slayer. It is a port.
You can play the demo of Love, Money, Rock and Roll on Steam.
Oh. Oh yeah, look at that.
It's from a studio that was already known for their existing visual novel, Everlasting Summer. Yeah. Sorry, carry on. Demon Slayer, it's the port of the Demon Slayer game. It's gonna be like the Naruto game, but better, and also it will have Demon Slayer in it, and then people will be like, oh my god, Demon Slayer!
That's the new hot thing!
Yeah, I buy t-shirts that on a Hot Topic. That means it must be cool.
You're just getting old.
Let me rag on Demon Slayer, alright? I watched the first season and the movie. I think I've earned it.
Apparently the current season's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, I know. You've said that to me like 3 times, and I'm still like...
No, I'm not trying to convince you to watch it. It's just, I'm pretty hyped for it.
I don't, like, again, I don't think Demon... There's a lot of things that I'm like, yeah, this is like 6.5 out of 10. Like, it's not bad. I just rather spend my time on 7 to 8 out of 10 things rather than things that are like... I don't know. It's
I'm
like, it goes
not
between...
having this conversation with you right now because we're just gonna go down this big thing about how our opinions are different.
Yeah, sure. Mario Strikers Battle League. I want to hear your thoughts about this.
About Mario Strikers Battle League?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't play these games, but when I saw it, I was extremely surprised because I did not think that we were getting another Mario Strikers game. And I think it's good for people who are into the Mario spin-off games because I know that Mario Strikers is both a very expensive GameCube game and we haven't and a Wii game actually. There's a Mario Strikers on the GameCube and on the Wii. And I think that this is going to be a good selling game and it's probably a really good pickup, TBH.
Yeah, I think it's a good Fantasy Critic pick for sure.
I'm actually going to go look to Open Critic right now and look at the other
Mario Strikers has 76 and Mario Strikers Charged has 79 on Metacritic. They may not be on...
Yeah, they're not on
Open Critic because Open Critic came out a long time after Metacritic, so it doesn't have the same backlog.
Okay. I think it looks neat. It's not my thing. I like the art style in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people who are into it will have a sick time.
You know what I thought was funny is they were like, it's a 5-on-5 game, and then when transitioned to talking about multiplayer, and were like, you can play as a team of 4-on-4. And you're like, yeah, well, maybe it should have been a 4 versus 4 game then. Maybe that would have been smart. Although I have a feeling what it is that the 5th player is the goalie.
Oh, yeah, the goalie, that makes sense.
And then you only have 4 players that need to be played by a human. And having a human have to play the goalie and be like, cool, everyone else gets to run around the field and do stuff, and you stay in your fucking box in the corner, Kevin. Kevin! Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I don't know if we had a date for this before. The thing I saw...
Is it 3 Hopes?
Yes, the 3 Hopes is the new one.
Oh.
3 Houses is the old one. 3 Hopes is the new one.
But it's Warriors. It's a Warriors, isn't it? Yeah, it's Fire Emblem Warriors.
3
Oh,
Hopes.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
New action game coming to the Switch.
It is a Warriors game.
Oh,
It will
it's
have Fire Emblem characters in it.
it's like a Dynasty Warriors game. Is that why it's called Fire Emblem Warriors? Because it's a Dynasty.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay. Cool. Well, we all know what Dynasty Warriors games looks like. Cuphead,
Yep.
The Delicious Last Course is coming on Switch. One of the universe's most delayed DLC games. I think the DLC has supposed to been out for 5 years now.
Yeah. Miss Chalice looks cute. I've still never played Cuphead, but I do want to.
Cuphead's on my list for this year, but what I did is I intentionally pushed it back into later in the year so that in the autumn sale, if Steam are doing a like get Cuphead and The Last Course as a bundle,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Maybe we
can.
can play it together and hate ourselves.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really want to hate myself, but I will play it. Yuru Kill, like Callum Nashian games. I'm kind of concerned to Google this, but I'm gonna. Okay, it's a visual novel. Or actually, let's do this. Which one's newer? September, December, release date trailer. Although this trailer's
It is a shmup.
it's a shmup.
It's a shmup.
You shoot the ups.
Yeah, you shoot the ups and you dodge. It looks like it actually has some different types of gameplay in it.
Oh, this is weird. This art is weird. This is like a grasshopper game. It like if visual style reminds me of anything, it reminds me of a grasshopper game. Also, this is very Danganronpa. Does this trailer... Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there's like this part where they're like doing a puzzle, but then there's like a shmup area in the trailer. It'll come up shortly.
Oh, okay.
See. So honestly, I really don't know what this actually is supposed to be. I guess it is a shmup.
It's a shmup, but there's also a visual novel with puzzles and things.
Sure, those are overlapping communities, I guess. I hear at least once a week someone who's super into shmups coming into my store being like, you know what would fix all shmups? Some visual novel aspects.
So, I know you're being sarcastic. But I'm not really into shmups as a franchise, except for Thunder Force 4 because it's sick, nasty, amazing music. If there was something where somebody could be like, hey, Nifty, you should play this shmup because it has a really good story. And I sat and I looked at this trailer because they were like, play this game because it has a really good story and also you can the shmup is like decent. I would seriously consider playing it. I'm seriously considering putting it on my list of games to play just because I looked at this trailer and was like, what the fuck is going on? What is happening? I need to know more.
I mean, that's fair. I have no wish to play this game.
If their
No passing desire.
their goal with this game was to get weird motherfuckers like me to be interested in shmups, then it worked. Congratulations. You have my interest. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is weird, right? Who is like, you know what this shmup needs is like a visual novel with puzzles in.
Yeah, and people who like super like visual novels are like, if only these games were shmups, I'd play more of them.
I do know that like story is a big it's like a big draw to people in that community, obviously, because like whatchamacallit, the game with all the girls in the shooting and all the girls,
Oh,
yeah, is like people get really into the extended universe for that, right? Like I see art of the characters and stuff all the time.
yeah.
So I think there's like I would get up in front of a room full of industry professionals and make this argument that
Okay.
you could sell a game this. I wouldn't be a very good argument,
You know
but
what game should have shmup in it?
what?
Disco Elysium.
No, get out of here. Although every game should have more dialogue like Disco Elysium, more inner dialogue like Disco Elysium. It's so good.
I wanna. Someone should remake Final Fantasy X, but with the Disco Elysium dialogue.
Oh my gosh, no, that'd be so good. Clona.
Oh no, a prequel where you play as Jacked.
I don't want to be the abusive dad, yo.
I mean, you don't play as the abusive dad because, like you do, but you don't play it as him being an abusive dad because he gets shipped off to Spira first. Remember?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Clona,
love him.
Clona, and Clona 2 are ports,
As
but
Klonoa.
Clonoa. Okay.
Klonoa, yeah.
I remember playing. I think a lot of the Daughter Phantomile demo. I think that was the one. It's like a fun video game. I don't know.
Klonoa. So, what? This is just Klonoa. Do you know what Klonoa was? The first Klonoa, or what these ports, what the original ones were on?
One of them was on the PS2.
Why the fuck are you being like this?
Oh no,
Anyways.
so Daughter Phantomile is PS1,
Klonoa.
and then Klonoa 2, assumedly, is PS2.
Klonoa 1 is a $650 game. Or Door to Phantomile, I should say, is a $650 game, yes, on the PS1. And then Klonoa 2 is 120. So yeah, if you want to buy these ports for probably, I don't know, $40, you're saving yourself some money.
Yeah, apparently there were only 900,000 copies of Klonoa 2 made and only 300,000 of them sold. Which is unfortunate. As I said, I played a lot of the demo of Klonoa 2.
I am going to add these onto my list of games I want to play because they just look like games I would like to play.
I don't know if you remember when there was like a big thing. It was like shortly after the PS1 came out for like 2.5D platformers. Of like,
Mhm.
oh, the action all happens on a plane. It's 2D platformer action, but the plane can go through 3D space now because the games are in
Okay,
3D.
okay.
Klonoa 2 was like one of the best imaginings of that.
Okay.
That anyone
Yeah,
played.
I've kind of wanted to play them for a really long time, but as I said, the PS1 version is $620 and the
Yeah.
PS2 one is, and then the Wii one is also $120, and the one on Game Boy Advance is $250, and the other Game Boy Advance one on is $180. The
You were
strategy guide for Klonoa 2 is $120.
Can you indulge me in something looking up these prices if you can?
Maybe.
What's the European UK price, the PAL price for Klonoa 2?
On PS2?
Yeah.
$80 roonies.
Yeah, it's less because there's more copies.
And then the PlayStation 1, the Door to Phantom Mile is 270-ish.
Yeah. I was only interested in 2 because that's the only one I played.
Funny thing though, the PAL Wii version is still $120.
So next we have Live Alive. I fucking want to play this game. It looks weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me all the weird games. It's never been released outside of Japan, so the only way you would have played it is by getting an
Being Japanese
unofficial
or port
translation.
or knowing Japanese.
I have a suspicion.
That most people did not.
No, I mean maybe that, but that's not where I was going with that. I have a suspicion that something that's going to happen when this game is going to come out is a bunch of people who unofficially were connected to unofficial translations are going to complain that it's not being translated properly because that usually happens. Also, apropos to a discussion we had before this about it being a remaster, I'm looking at screenshots of the original game. The original game was pretty cool looking
Oh, okay.
for an older game. It has some like nice sprites with like lots of detail. Apparently, this character has an ability called Pissed Fist.
Oh yeah.
Hand tech / Furious Fist Flurry.
Oh yeah.
Is that cursor a fish? Is he picking things with a fish? But yeah, Live Alive's really weird. It's like 7 different stories across 7 different times,
Yeah.
all done by 7 different people, but all in the same RPG system with an 8th story that brings them all together. And yeah, it's just weird, and I love weird bullshit. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming out in September this year. I guess if you like your RPGs, your open world JRPGs with dodgy British accents in, you'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything else about that franchise. Maybe
I know that James is really excited for it.
I
He
want
was
to
pretty
know.
hyped when they announced it.
I want to know more about that franchise because I love Xenosaga is amazing. I love that game a lot. But I can't do things that are like, hey, play this game for 40 hours. I can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Every RPG should be like um, The World Ends With You, where the main story takes like 12 hours. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, here's 30 more hours of content if you just want to fuck around and find out. Well, like 20, I guess. I don't know. It's been a long time since I played World Ends With You. The point is, the main story is not the majority of the game. Blood West.
It looks bad.
Oh, hang on. This is not the thing that we were looking at before. This is not the thing we were looking at last week.
What the preacher used to say on the rare days
Oh,
when
this
he
is
was
like a
sober.
weird, like, low res thing.
I can't tell if it's supposed to be low res, like as like the aesthetic.
No, it's definitely an
Okay.
intentional, like,
Okay.
we're trying to make it look chunky, but there's also stuff in here I can see where the resolutions of assets are mixed, which is bad. Like, there's things that are, like, I'm looking at those skulls and things, and I'm like, these skulls are too smooth. They should have less.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I can't tell if this is how it's supposed to look or not, is because like some of it looked like it was trying to be like kind of nowadays, but like budget, and some of it was looking like it was trying to be like aesthetically chosen to be like low res, and I couldn't tell which it was supposed to be.
To me, it looks like it's supposed to be that, like,
Okay.
modern low res look. I don't know what the word you use for it. But
Demastered.
it's not a demaster because demasters they like intentionally make them look
Yeah.
like PlayStation games or whatever. This isn't that. This isn't a PS1 look. It's like you wouldn't see the models are all too high quality to be PS1, and then PS2 you wouldn't see these intentionally blocky textures on.
Yeah.
Right? Like you'd see pixels where you're not supposed to, where the texture is too low resolution, but you wouldn't see textures where it's intentionally they picked a really low resolution texture so that you can see all the pixels on it. So it's not really like a demake.
Okay.
But it's like usually the thing I see is like low res 3D art.
Hmm.
But there's some stuff in here that has too many tries and it looks weird. It looks like it doesn't fit with everything else. But that doesn't seem like the majority of things. That seems like some stuff they need to do a polish pass and go through and make some of the assets have simpler silhouettes with more straight edges on so that they don't look so out of place. It's my top tier art analysis of this game. I only saw like 10 seconds of gameplay, so Long Gone Days is a thing that I've been like looking at
It looks
teasers.
like it's an early access, and you can purchase it on Steam right now.
Yes, I think I have an early access copy, but I won't play it until the whole game's out.
That's fair.
It's weird. It's a 2D modern military RPG with a
Hmm.
focus on language and cultural barriers inspired by classic dystopian literature and visual novels. Like, I'm ready to get depressed about the military. Like, very depressed about the
It's my
military.
favorite thing to do.
Oh no, there's block pushing. I hate that. But yeah, this art style's cool. You don't usually see
Yeah, it definitely looks cute.
games like this. I don't know. Man, narratives about the modern day military are super spicy, yo. It's gonna be difficult to navigate that without making a political statement that will upset people. Which I'm like, get in there, make your political statement, let people be upset. Um, but you know, it's not necessarily for everyone. Mars After Midnight.
It's not on Steam.
Oh, it's not on Steam because it's the Lucas Pope
Oh,
game for the
it's for the
Playdate.
play date.
I remember now because I wanted to know what Lucas Pope was working on after finishing Obra Dinn, and it's this. I love the little
I mean,
thing.
it looks kind of
I
cool.
love the little thing. There's the shutter, and you like twist the Playdate lever up, and it
Yeah.
like opens the shutter. Oh, and Lucas Pope is doing a devlog on itch.io. Ooh. Also, I just went to itch.io, and there's a game on the front page called Froggy Pot, of like a little frog Kiku girl living in a pot of water. Anyway.
This game looks really, really cool. Like just like the way it works, it looks really cool.
Mars After Midnight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be like another Lucas Pope thing, but with cool Playdate controls, right?
Hmm.
Okay, Mika and the Witches. Oh, this is a thing. I sent a GIF of this to the games Discord like a few days ago.
I mean, it 100% looks like a thing I would play.
Right?
It's being added to my list.
If I have any
Mika
concerns, it's
and
that the world looks very sparse right now. Like it looks like there's a lot of space in the world that doesn't really have stuff in. That once you've been moving around the world for more than a few hours, you're like, this feels boring because I have to cross these sparse, empty spaces so often. It was what undid Swords and Sorcery Sorcery Super Brothers EP for me. It was like that game was really cool and really atmospheric and had a bunch of really cool puzzles and a great soundtrack, but covering the vast tracts of empty world when you would, well, not empty world, but like world with nothing to do in aside from walk through it when you were trying to solve the late game puzzles felt awful. It felt real bad. Okay, next, MLB The Show 22 is coming on Switch. Um, Never. So the one thing I say about this is I have never. That's the first time ever I've seen a trailer for Japan being where Japan are excited because there's a baseball game
Yeah, no,
coming
that's fair.
on a Nintendo console, right?
I just I personally do not give a shit.
Um, I just thought the announcer in that trailer was funny. I was expecting to tell me he was walking here.
Man, Playdate's
Mothman
really expensive.
1966. Yeah, because it comes with 2 seasons of games, so you're
20,
getting
24 games.
yeah, you're getting 24 games and the console.
Once those 24 games are out, is that it? Or can you
No,
buy more?
no, they just haven't worked out the pricing structure for
Okay.
future seasons. They'd obviously hadn't even worked out the pricing structure for the first 2 seasons, right? Because they were like, we'll work it out, and then they announced the playdate, and we're just like, yeah, the first 2 seasons are coming with the playdate. I think they just were like, we'll defer this problem of working out what this pricing looks like till later. Um, I I have not pre-ordered a playdate. I'm waiting to get my hands on one. Uh, you know how much I don't like owning stuff, so I'm not gonna prospectively order one. But I do love the idea of having a console, and instead of like struggling with all the games on this console, it's just like every month we'll send you a couple of games. You can play them.
Yeah.
You can not play them. You know, it's fine. Um, it's you know the very tippity top of curation. You do not get much more curated than that. You
Yeah.
pay for everything and you get what we give you and you like it because you've already paid for it. Okay, Mothman 1966. Hang on, I had an actual trailer. Oh, here's a teaser. This art
I think
style
I've
is
seen something about it at some point.
this art style is wild. This looks like a Devolver Digital thing.
Oh, definitely. I don't get it.
I don't know.
Is it
It's just panning across the landscape. Oh, and it's the title.
Mothman 1966 is a pixel pulp, a visual novel featuring a fusion of exceptional writing and stunning illustrations inspired by the mid-20th century pulp fiction and 80s home computer graphics. Set amongst the strange occurrences of the Leonid meteor shower of 1966. It is coming soon.
There's a demo available, so if you're into that kind of thing, you just
No, maybe it's interesting for sure.
okay, Paper Cut Mansion. It's just ooh, okay. I'm looking at this Steam trailer thing. I'm already excited by these visuals. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, everything's made out of paper or cardboard.
How did I get here?
I like the music.
I like he closed the door hard enough to knock the painting off the wall.
Born again, wake up, my friend. You only one piece, and yet you can bend. 2 arms, 2 legs, I've cut you good. I made your face as wrong as I could. Be afraid, this house has space. You find magical and rare. I assure you nothing's hiding over there. The darkness of the unknown will tickle that small brain. If you say no, my efforts will be in vain. Oh no, 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 no. You can't refuse, you can't just run. I gave you a life, no, that's not fun. We'll take a move, I'll fold you well. Put you in the mail and I'll send you to hell.
I'm sad because like the shooting mechanics don't look great.
Yeah.
They like the overall aesthetic of the game is really cool, and then there's like I think if like the bits where you run around and shoot stuff don't make up the majority of the game, it'll be decent. Concerned that there's a thing that looks like survival mechanics, which is a thing I'm coming to hate with a burning passion.
The next game is Portal 1 and 2 port for the Switch.
Yeah, it's a port all of the two
Ah,
games for the Switch. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League,
moved from 2023 to
2022,
2022.
which is fucking unheard of, by the way, right? Usually the problem is games moving forwards, not games moving backwards. Taiko no Tatsujin, we already looked at it because we were trying to work out what the deal was
Yeah.
with it was last week. And it's the new Taiko no Tatsujin. It has Megalovania in it.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that I had Megalovania in it.
It has Legend of Zelda, and if you pay for the subscription, you can get 500 tracks in it. Which I assume is probably like all of the fucking arcade Taiko
Have
no
fun trying to
Tatsujin
get a hold
tracks.
of the drum.
I kind of assumed that they were going to do a thing with the motion controls.
I don't know what you could do with the motion controls to make it feel like the taiko drum.
Don't ask me. I would only want to play that game with the drum because I feel like that's got to be the most satisfying thing is actually hitting the goddamn drum.
Yeah, and good luck finding the drum.
Are they not doing a re-release of the drum for Rhythm Festival?
Maybe, I don't know.
It's like the first one on the Switch console, right?
No, you can get another one on the Switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lego rules. I don't know. Lego games are fun. Lego games are
Right
usually
now,
fun.
Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Adventure Park. And you can get the Hori Taiko Master controller for it for over $100 if you really want. So you're paying like $60 for the game and $100 for the drum.
Yeah. It's like the reverse of Rock Band controllers. Okay, so Lego Brawls is already on the Apple Arcade. It's a 4v4 multiplayer brawler. So I'm guessing it's Smash Bros, but not as good.
Yeah.
I did like the thing in Lego Brawls, in the Lego Brawls trailer I saw, where there was just like a guy on a horse, and he just like charged on the horse. It looked silly, and silliness is what I'm here for with Lego games. Disney Speedstorm Racing is a game we can't bid on because it's free to play.
What I was gonna say prior to the thing is I'm actually kind of excited about it only because I saw in the trailer that you can be Jack Sparrow, and I'm like, Jack Sparrow in a kart racer just sounds hilarious.
I mean, like, kart racing games are usually like good, clean fun, right? I've not. It's been a while since I've been encountered a kart racing game that I've been disappointed by.
I am excited to try it because it is free.
I don't know. I don't know about the kind of person that sits at home and plays kart racing games on their own time. You know, people who are like, "Hey, friendos, let's play this cool multiplayer car game," and then usually,
I used to play Mario Kart Wii on my own.
I played Diddy Kong racing a lot on my own, but I'm pretty sure that was the one that had like the open world area and stuff
Yeah.
that you would use, so it felt more like an adventure game
Oh,
than a.
I also played a lot of Crash Team Racing, which is essentially a Diddy Kong spiritual successor.
Yeah. Front Mission is coming to the Switch this year, a remaster of Front Mission.
And Front Mission 2 is also coming to the Switch, but we do not know when. They don't have like a specific.
I will Metacritic Front Mission real quick to see.
I
Nope,
know
there's
that
only Front Mission Evolved or Front Mission for DS.
I know that James was excited about the concept of Front Mission. He added it to the list that he wants to get games for.
So, Front Mission, the port of Front Mission to the DS, which is the only thing I can find a Metascore for, is 72.
Okay.
Hmm.
So better than 0.
The thing I found really, really funny about Front Mission is during the direct they had the really epic giant mechs trailer, and then the first thing they cut to was gameplay trailer of a guy ordering a mech that was like really tiny on the screen. It just like dee 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 like hopped forward a few tiles, and I was like, guys, way to undermine your entire setup about how cool this game is going to be. I imagine the strategy part of it's probably pretty fun, but it was just funny how they managed to like undersell how good it is. If you compare it to something like what's the time traveling mech game from the FTL guys, Into the Breach?
Oh yeah, Into the Breach.
Like Into the Breach is the same thing. It's a tactics game. The actual mechs are really tiny on the screen, but when you watch the trailer, they have like a real sense of like bigness and impact, and everything feels really chunky. Whereas the Front Mission thing, everything just, I don't know, just felt like humans but with some metal stuck on them. Nemansky's coming to the Switch.
Woman's Only Sky.
You too can play Sean Murray's third most disappointing game on Switch. But it's good now because you can build bases or something. I don't know.
Splatoon.
Splatoon. Did Splatoon have a date before?
Yes, it did. They mostly teased the Salmon Run upgrades.
Yeah,
or like the new shit in Salmon Run.
I don't get Splatoon trailers. I don't get them. Every time I watch a Splatoon trailer and I'm like, is this gonna have something that makes me want to play Splatoon? Nope. Okay.
Okay, but they had like a Godzilla salmon, and that makes me excited. Not for the game, but just in general.
I think I'm like a tiny bit embittered because the beginning of the original Splatoon trailer looked like they were going to announce like a Splatoon RPG or something, like a Splatoon adventure game, and not the like arena shooting game. Which like the arena shooting game's fine. It's not for me. It's not for me. There's no point in me complaining about a game because it's not for me. The last time I was excited by anything.
How dare not all games be for me? It makes me angry.
I mean, go to Twitter and complain people are making too many games because so many games aren't made for you, right?
The amount of games coming out are too damn high.
I do remember the Splatoon 2 trailer getting a momentary shot of Adrenaline seeing the paint roller for the first time because it was just very cool. I think the first time they show the paint roller off is where they like just roll over another player with the paint roller.
I really like. I just don't play it. It's just not my game.
Yeah. But I love the setting. I love the Splatoon setting. It's cool and it's
really
weird.
cool.
And I'm like, please make a game in that setting for me, so I can listen to the good Splatoon music and play gameplay that I care about.
Yeah.
I know this is a selfish request, but also I'll give you $60 to $80 if you'll let me do this.
SD Gundam Battle Alliance.
Yeah, this is the thing with the weird chibi Gundams.
Yeah, the chibi Gundams, which is a super long running franchise as far back as like the Famicom.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's a Gundam game. I'm sure you'll like it if you like that kind of thing.
I think we've talked about Atomic Heart before.
It sounds like a game. I don't know. This trailer doesn't. Mysterious first-person shooter from Munfi. Oh, wait, no, we have. We have. I don't know if we looked at this trailer, but
Don't worry, honey. I'm okay. The procedure went well.
I kind of dig the creepy look of the humanoid robots.
The human of tomorrow.
There's a man in the facility. He's armed, and he's equipped with an experimental polymer glove. We have no chance.
I won't play this, but I do love the aesthetic. I bet Sean would be into this game.
You okay?
I'm okay.
Get up.
Want to learn Chinese in 5 minutes? Or maybe get a PhD in quantum physics in just 1 hour? With the launch of the Collective 2.0, all this knowledge will be available to anyone!
Arriving shortly at your destination.
oh man, do you think the plots they're gonna do an AI thing that's a terrible idea and you've got to stop them?
Yeah.
Oh, this looks like a very Bioshocky.
Let's go.
30 seconds to what?
And then it's total yap his dad, son. That's what.
I mean, it seems pretty cool. I might not play it. I might play. Who knows?
I'd play this. I kind of like immersive sim shooters.
What the bloody hell is going on?
The robots are out of control. They're killing everyone.
Sims 4 wedding expansion won't release in Russia over homophobic federal laws.
For me, whether how much I'm into this depends on how pulpy it is. I think
Ah,
I want it to be more serious and not like super pulpy, because the robots in it do seem genuinely creepy.
yeah. That's why I'm like into it. Like I was just like, I don't like these designs. So I was like, actually, I don't like the designs, but only because they make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a new. No, yeah, 2 games left. There's a new Ace Attorney game, an unannounced Ace Attorney game.
Unannounced. It will be Ace Attorney.
I mean, you don't know that. You don't know that, right? The one time they were like, "Here's a secret Ace Attorney game," and it turned out you were Edgeworth, and it was like different to the Phoenix Wright games, right?
So like the one time.
Yes, the one time.
Okay, the one time.
This could be the second time. This could be the time.
Okay, sure.
The time. The time when it's.
Technically, I guess the second time would have been the detective, Ace the
No,
Detective.
no.
Professor
Yeah, I was gonna
X,
say,
or,
I was gonna say the Professor Layton crossover game as well. But the Professor Layton
Professor
crossover, the Professor Layton crossover game was like, here's the Professor Layton sections. Cool, you're done. Now it's time for the Phoenix Wright section.
Yeah, so it's probably still gonna be a Phoenix Wright game, which doesn't mean anything negative. The Phoenix Wright games are good games.
Yeah, I want to play.
As long as you like those kinds of games.
I want to play. So did you play Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton?
No.
The new trial mechanic they added to that, because usually when you cross-examine somebody, you cross-examine a single witness, and they like give you a series of statements, and then you like find evidence that contradicts one of their statements or whatever, right? Or you press it on a thing.
Yeah.
Professor
And then they do
Layton.
funny animations.
Yeah. Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton added a mechanic where your witness is like 5 different people.
Oh.
You have to go between different people, and then you have to find 2 people that contradict each other, and that is how you like eliminate false statements from your testimony. It's fun because like usually when it's one person, you get like either the entire statement gets amended or the one part, but when it's multiple people, it's like some parts of the testimony get changed, but others do not.
Okay, yeah.
And then the new Ace Attorney game that's like the weird, not like prequel, but it's set before the Phoenix Wright games, has that mechanic, and I want to see that fleshed out in like just a Phoenix Wright game
Okay.
without the little Professor Layton bits in between. Even though Professor Layton, they're pretty good video games. I like them. I played through 2 of them. The Wolf Among Us is not coming out this year. That's the Wolf Among Us 2. Obviously,
Yeah,
the Wolf Among
but
Us 1 is also not coming out this year because it's been out for a very long time.
we finally got 100% confirmation that is still a thing, and we have
Oh,
a kind of release date, and I'm just fucking hyped.
were we not? I thought we were already confirmed that it was definitely a
There was a
thing.
tease,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean it was definitely a thing. There was like a quick, like, oh yeah, totally, but fucking Telltale, you don't know, man.
All right. So we have 25 minutes of the show left. Oh, I guess is there anything
Final Fantasy tier maker.
before we
What?
do that? I don't think there weren't any bids or anything last week, right?
No.
There's no leak history things to look at.
I'm kind of tempted to bid on some shit.
Yeah, the only thing was the oh, I didn't even notice this before.
What?
The Papa John's Year of Reckoning counterpick Plants vs Zombies 3.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there was some February the 5th activity. There was some stuff that happened last
Oh.
Saturday. Yeah, Papa John's third Year of Reckoning counterpicked Plants vs Zombies 3 because assumedly I
How
think
dare.
it's not going to come out.
How dare.
And Nintendo got the Resident Evil Village DLC, which is play the safety. Got to make up for those negative 15 points.
I don't know why they would pick out of all of the things that they could have picked Arceus. That was a big risk.
Some people were very confident it was not going to be a very good video game. To the point
Yeah,
where
Nintendo.
to the point where the day it came out, there was somebody in work Slack who was still being like, "Yeah, the graphics are bad." Like the game was already out. People had already said it was like a
Graphics
good
aren't
game.
even that good. The graphics aren't that good, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be bad or people are gonna give it super shitty scores. It's finally a Pokemon game that isn't just a fucking boring.
It's not like, I don't know, this whole debate is toxic now because of how people talk about video games, but it's not specifically that like the graphics are bad. It's that there there are things in like the graphical polish of that game that are problems that have been solved in video games for over a decade. Like we already know how to fix them, like having repeating textures on water or having a horizon line that's like not broken up well. And it's not even like a performance issue. It's just like how you assemble your environments and build your sight lines and like some shader stuff that is not expensive. And I think that's what makes people go, "Oh, it's going to be a bad video game," is like if you fuck this simple stuff up, what else did you fuck up? But correlation is not cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, well, if if A has problems, then B has problems. In a lot of cases, that A and B are directly related to each other. It's not. That's not how that works. But I understand why people boiled that argument down to graphics bad, so game bad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if there's a tier maker. Lists for everything. Final Fantasy. Characters. Wait, is there Final Fantasy games? Ranking all Final Fantasy games, films, and anime? No. Every single Final Fantasy game ever. Final Fantasy games I finished. Complete Final Fantasy tier list. Oh my gosh, this has like Dissidia and stuff in. I just want
Link me. Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy main games. I
Is
think
that just the numbered ones though?
1,
Like,
2,
shouldn't
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes, it's just the direct numbered ones. Here you go. Final Fantasy main games and sequels, and it has nice and easy to read
Link
fucking
me.
I'm streaming it on the Discord, or are you gonna
I want to make my own.
okay. Okay. Uh boop. There you go, I put it in Discord.
Okay.
Okay.
Praise, like, mixed feelings, dislike, revile. Not played, hyped, not played, interested, not played, disinterested, not played, refused.
I like disinterested. Okay. Not played interested, but only because you said I should play it. Uh, disliked Final Fantasy Tactics. Not played disinterested Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. Not played disinterested Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced 2. Final Fantasy 9 Praise. Final Fantasy 8 Mixed Feelings. Final Fantasy 7 Remake liked. Final Fantasy 7 liked. Dirge of Cerberus Mixed Feelings. CC. What's
What?
CC?
Is that Final Fantasy 16?
No. FF16, yeah.
Well, I guess I'm gonna put it on not played but hyped because I get hype over things easy.
Uh Crisis Core. Right, that's what CC is short for. Final Fantasy 6. Yeah. Final Fantasy 5. Not played it. I'm interested. Final
Wait,
Fantasy
no. I know
4, the
yes.
after years. Not played, interested. Final Fantasy 3. Okay, Final Fantasy 15. We're getting into the territory of Final Fantasies I've actually fucking played now. Yeah, mixed feelings about Final Fantasy 15. Obviously, I love Final Fantasy 14. 13's mixed feelings. Lightning Returns. I liked 13-2. Praised Final Fantasy 12. Revenant's Wings.
World of Final Fantasy, yeah, that's going at the top.
Final Fantasy 12. Final Fantasy 11. Final Fantasy 10. Final Fantasy 10-2.
I don't think there's any Final Fantasies I would say I revile.
Yeah. There's like 3 spots on this that there's no use to me. I have no use for the like not played refused because there's like almost no games that I'm like, I will never ever play this video game. You can fucking put me in front of a controller with FIFA 2023. I'll try FIFA 2023.
Sure.
It's fine.
What about Call of Juarez? You want to beat some gay people up in a Nazi jail?
Cool of Juarez? Oh, the okay.
Post.
Yeah, I'm like I'll play what's it that stupid hatred game. Sure, it's a video game. I'm not convinced I'll have a super good time, but I'll try it, you know. How dare you put 13-2 in not played disinterested?
I'm not interested.
It's the best Final Fantasy 13. It might be
Okay.
one of the best Final Fantasies.
I've seen Ryan play some of it. Look at yours. Yours
We
compared
both
to mine.
we both have Final Fantasy 10 in our praise category
And 9.
and 9, so we agree about the important things.
Yeah.
That's
We both have Final Fantasy 10-2 and like.
yeah. I feel
We
weird.
both have Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy 8, and Final Fantasy 12 in mixed feelings.
Yeah. I feel like I need another category between mixed feelings and liked, because I don't think Dirge of the Cerberus deserves to be in the same category as Final Fantasy 12. I think Final Fantasy
Agree.
12 is it's a better video game than Dirge of the Cerberus. Dirge of the Cerberus had a bunch of
Yeah.
big problems with it, whereas Final Fantasy 12 has some problems with it, like the most disinteresting protagonist in the entire universe, and before that was Final Fantasy X. Like, they were just trying hard to have somebody who was more disinteresting than Tidus. Uh, Dislike Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine to feel that way. Dislike FF1.
So, you want to know why?
Sure.
I went in the wrong direction, had no clue where I was going.
Oh, okay. I also feel like I wish there was a thing between not played hyped and not played interested, because I have Final Fantasy IV in my not played interested thing, but I spent a lot of time watching Final Fantasy IV randomizer races that made me really want to play Final Fantasy IV.
Wait. Final Fantasy 4 was the one that we got that was 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's mixed up. My 2 is in not played interested, and 4 is in like
Final Fantasy IV is the one with
it was on the Super Nintendo for me.
it's with Kane and the airship
Yeah.
and
Okay, yeah, I played it. I liked it. I never beat it, but I liked it. It's Spoony Bard.
yes, yeah. Uh, at least one person on my Twitter feed thinks Final Fantasy XI's really good. I'm only saying that because it's in your not played disinterested list.
Yeah, I don't really care. With the Final Fantasy Tactics, I really want to like them, but every time I've tried playing, like I've tried playing a little bit of the first one, it's just like it's a little bit too clunky for me.
So Final Fantasy Tactics, I played it for the first time when I was at school, at video game school, and listened to all these people be like, "Oh my God, Final Fantasy Tactics, it's so good. You really got to play this game. It's an amazing video game. You're gonna love it. It's great. The story is so good." Um, so I sat down in one of my free periods, grabbed a copy of Final Fantasy Tactics from the library, put it in a console, got 25 minutes into the game, and I still wasn't allowed to tell any of my units what to do on the field, and was like, this sucks. I
That
hate
does sound
this.
like it sucks.
There was like a huge long intro about like the political situation and the
Yeah.
some country invading another country, and like, I guess in defense of Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 12 has a similarly dry setup, right? That
Mhm.
they're like the war, the country's doing a war on another country, and the princess blah 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 something
Yeah.
Ravenasta blah blah blah, but then puts you in the hand of the fucking guard captain trying to fight his way out of the tower before they capture the princess to make it like
Mhm.
exciting. Whereas tactics is just, here's some dudes on a field. You can tell one of them what to do, but everyone else just does whatever they want every turn. This is a fun and interactive video game, and that killed Final Fantasy Tactics for me. It could have the most amazing third act of all time. I'm not sitting through the first 25 minutes of that game ever again.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
And then Tactics Advanced, I've heard that like Tactics Advanced has the bad Iblis stuff. That is the bad
Oh.
Iblis stuff from Final Fantasy 12 that made the Final Fantasy 12 plot bad. And then Final Fantasy 4, the after years, I've just heard it's not a very good Final Fantasy. Yeah, and Final Fantasy 16, I don't know what the fucking video game is, right? Do you know what's in Final Fantasy 16? I've seen some like medieval stuff. There's Phoenix. They talk about summons some.
Yeah.
They're using the same engine as Final Fantasy 15, and the fighting in 15 was good. So no, I have really mixed feelings about it because the fighting in Final Fantasy 15 was good because it was tied up in your ability to like teleport around the battlefield and freely switch your weapon and generally be like an annoying little monkey. And that doesn't seem to exist in 16. So even being like, oh, it has a similar battle system, so it might also be fun is a very like, it's not a sound statement to make. What else is? Hang on. You have some stuff and not played Hype 16. Oh, and 6. Yeah, 6 is so good.
Yeah, because I've never played 6, but I know it's like it is. Final Fantasy 7 and 6 are like the ones that almost all of the fans always fight over, no matter what. Because all like Final Fantasy 7 did a lot and got like a lot of new people who never played anything before 7. We're all like, Final Fantasy 7's the best, and then everybody who likes Final Fantasy 6 is like, oh, you just don't know what you're talking about. And so I know that it's good, and I know a lot of people really fucking like 6. I just haven't played it.
Yeah. Well, you play 6, it goes hard. It goes so hard. It has the similar mechanical problems that exist in Final Fantasy 7, which is that the encounter system eventually starts to feel really frivolous and like gets in your way of playing the game you want to play. Like the boss encounters are really cool, but also you have to do like fucking 12 random encounters with the same sets of enemies that you work out how to kill efficiently after the like second or third set. And then you're just like, do I have the resources to grind through all these enemies before I get to the boss encounter that I actually wanted to do? But there's got to be a version of Final Fantasy 6 now where you can just like turn the encounters off, turn the encounters down, just do the cool bits of the game. I play it on emulator and speed the game up through the bits that were like that. So yeah. Anyway, I was right when I was said top 5 and not top 3 because I have I have 5 games in my praise list, and I think the order has to be Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 14, and then Final Fantasy 13 too, in that order. Which means that 6 doesn't quite make top 3, and that might be because Endwalker came out recently, and I'm like, oh my god, Final Fantasy 14 is so good right now. It's Final Fantasy 14. Me trying to sell that game, it's impossible for me to sell that game to other people for the reasons that I enjoy it. Like,
I put Final Fantasy 14 in my mixed.
Yeah.
Because I just can't stay interested in MMOs. I just can't. Like I just do not have the ability to want to keep going on MMOs after about 3 months of playing daily.
That's like a weird thing for Final Fantasy 14. I guess you played before they did the big squish and the like free version. Well, you played when they had the free version, but before they did the big squish, because they're trying to make a version of 14 where you can just like play through the story. So it's not an MMO where it's like, oh, you have to log in and do your daily grind or whatever. It's just like, oh, I want to play through Final Fantasy 14, so I will log on and.
I mean, even just going through the story is it's not something I just can't do it with MMOs. I just get bored.
but it's I don't see how the MMO part of it negatively affects the story. I guess you don't like visual novels either, right?
Yeah, I can't do lots and lots of reading. I just zone out. Like my brain will not focus if it's nothing but reading, despite the fact that I have played through and my favorite game is like if it's not Final Fantasy X, it's Final Fantasy IX. It's one of those two games are my favorite Final Fantasy. I don't know which one.
Man, could you
Uh,
imagine if they released Final Fantasy IX but with voice acting? Um, yeah, so FF14 has a problem in that like the first part of the game, not all the important bits are voice acted. So
mm,
you have to read. And a lot of it is like, well, not a lot of it, but too much of it is padded out too much, and too much of the first part of the game of A Realm Reborn, the entire plot is like, here are some bad evil people doing some bad evil things. Stop the
mhm.
bad evil people from doing the evil thing, and then you stop them, and then you win, and everyone's like, hooray, you saved the world from destruction. And then after that, it's like, okay, time to start a crazy political intrigue thriller about the group that saved the world. One of them being like, you know what would be cool? If there was a mercenary force that was answerable to nobody. That would be cool. Let's make that. And like in one of the main cities, two of the queen's advisors are trying to kill off the queen, and you're like one of the few people who know that this plot is happening, but you can't just like reveal them because they're too powerful. Um, there's like shit going on where um the the three main cities in Eorzea are trying to convince the fucking people in the frozen north to be like, hey, ally with us and join our military so that we can fight off the bastards from Garlemald. And the dragon people are like, nah, dude, we're too busy fighting dragons. um and they like eventually like nail having some like interesting plot threads with big um big dramatic and big cinematic moments. I think the big cinematic
Mhm.
moments is the thing that the thing that makes a Final Fantasy MMO cool, because it's Final Fantasy, is Square were good at doing those moments, especially in boss fights. um But yeah, I'm like, I put it in my praise category, but it's only in my praise category because I've been playing it for 5 to 6 years, and I've
Yeah.
gone through Endwalker, and it's like this big payoff for like this game where I've traveled with the same group of people, and like I helped rebuild all these nations. Went to all the Beastmen tribes, and I did all the quests for them, and I helped
Yeah.
Ishgard get rebuilt, and I did this and I that, and I went to the other I saved the people in the other dimension, solved their problems, and I got to the final chapter of like, we did all this work and here's the big payoff for all of that. And there's no game in my entire life, right, where it's like, oh, you're going to play this for 6 to 8 years, and at the end of it you're going to get the big thing that brings all your work together into
Yeah.
like a cool climactic moment. um and I guess I'm like lucky. I lucked out in being like, oh, I'm going to play this game. Especially given my original reason for playing the game is they put the gold saucer in it, and I want to
Yeah.
go do gold saucer things. I want to go race chocobos.
I mean, I won't lie. I was super hyped when they added Gold Saucer.
They've added even more stuff to the gold saucer now.
I don't doubt that.
You should come play with us.
No.
It's free. You can just
No.
play for a bit till you get
No.
bored.
No.
Uh, anyway, are there my opinions you want to get offended by in my tier maker?
No.
Okay.
I don't like. I mean, you have. I would be like. I'm gonna look back at your tier maker now and be like. I mean, Final Fantasy IX, obviously we agree with that as like one of the best games ever. Final Fantasy VI, again, not surprised that that's not on the top. I'm sure if I played if I played through it, I'm sure it would be pretty high up on my list too, based on everything I've heard about it. So who knows on that one. Final Fantasy 13 too. I get the appeal. I watched Ryan play some of it, and it just didn't. Maybe Ryan apparently just makes it look boring or something. Who knows? Maybe Ryan's just bad at the game. Final Fantasy 10, yes, belongs there. In your like list, yeah, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 7 remake, Final Fantasy 10 too. Yeah, no, that all makes sense.
I feel really
Uh,
weird putting 7 and 7 Remake next to each other.
I know.
I think Remake is definitively a better game, but I
Yeah.
don't
Agreed.
think that there's enough problems with Final Fantasy 7 that it belongs in the same fucking category as Dirge of the Cerberus.
Yeah. And then mixed feelings. Final Fantasy 8, we agree on. Dirge of Cerberus, we agree on. Crisis Core, we agree on. Final Fantasy 12, we agree on. And then I can understand why you have Final Fantasy 15 there. 100%. I actually should move mine, Final Fantasy 15 into there because I do have some mixed feelings. Like the entire, as soon as it stops being an open world game, it like loses a lot of points.
It's really weird. It's like 60% of the game is really good, and then the like 35% of the game after that is like, oh Christ.
Yeah.
And then the last 5%, it's like really cool just for like the last little bit of the game.
Mhm.
Uh I feel like that game would be more reviled now if they hadn't like just pulled it back at the last minute with like a good ending.
Yeah, straight up. Straight up. I could see that. Cuz I like man, I really loved playing all of the open world stuff. All of the open world stuff was so enjoyable. I loved all of it. Um But yeah, so I can 100% understand why you'd have that in your mixed feelings. Final Fantasy 13 is probably like the one where I'm just like, nah, I just don't see the I don't think that there's no good in it. I just don't think there's enough good to not be on my dislike list.
So a lot of the things that I like in 13 are things that I like on a technical design level or a narrative, like good narrative. It's weird saying good narrative design in connection with Final Fantasy 13 because some of it is absolutely fucking atrocious. Like the
Mhm.
amount that characters casually talk about stuff that doesn't make any goddamn sense unless you have a fucking dictionary, like the encyclopedia of their world, so you can be like lassie,
Mhm.
falsy, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, so here's narrative things in Final Fantasy 13 that I really loved. They could drop you in media res, 100%, just like straight into the action in that game. They don't
Mhm.
waste any fucking time. Final Fantasy 10 did a way better job of it, but Final Fantasy 13, after playing Final Fantasy 12 and having the like really, after getting through the intro, having the really slow opening, whereas Final Fantasy 13, at least on a narrative level, goes really hard for the first like
Mhm.
3 to 4 hours of like, no, your shit's fucked up, you're fugitives, you're on the run, bad things are happening like
Yeah.
everywhere. And then it just like it loses a lot of that momentum. And then the other thing I really like in Final Fantasy 13 is Saz as the everyman next to Lightning, who is doing like cool mercenary shit, and he's like, I just wanna spend time with my kid, yo.
Mhm.
Shit's fucked up. Let me just
Mhm.
go spend time with my child. And Lightning's doing like cool backflips and shit, and Saz is like, are you kidding me? There's not enough everyman characters in Final Fantasy. I think that their decision to make the first half of that game linear does not deserve. It's not deserving of all the hate that it gets.
Mhm.
Um, and creating like most Final Fantasies are actually pretty linear until the halfway point, and Final Fantasy 13 actually had a narrative to support it, which is you have to keep going forward because the authorities are pursuing you everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, it's just too bad that like all the systems in the game took way too long to open up to the point where they were good. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, sucks a lot. And also, yeah, the whole like you need an encyclopedia to understand what characters are talking about in the game.
You already explained your feelings on Final Fantasy Tactics. Why do you feel that way about Final Fantasy 12 Reverent Wings?
I played a little bit of I played a little bit of it. I just didn't enjoy it very much.
Okay.
Did you play Revenant Wings? Have you played Revenant Wings?
No, I have not.
It's like a real-time tactics game on the DS. It's also
Okay.
set in the Final Fantasy 12 like extended universe, so that's another thing to make me not interested in it. Like the character in the icon is fucking the protagonist from Final Fantasy 12 that nobody
Yeah.
gives a shit about.
Vaughn.
Vaughn. Bush is my boy. Not Bush. Balthier. Balthier's my boy.
Valkyr. Yeah, well, I
Why
mean,
didn't
he's
Balthier
the
get
protagonist.
Why didn't Balthier get a fucking video game?
Because they needed a reason for the characters to explain what was happening to you, so they put Vaughn there.
And technically, I think Ash is the protagonist of Final
It's
Fantasy.
Ash and Balthier.
Yeah. The plot's like actually about Ash. And Balthier,
Yeah.
Balthier technically is the everyman in Final Fantasy 12, right? He just wants to get paid. He
But
just wants
like
to get
I
paid for
would
his work.
100% see Balthier being the protagonist, kind of like the way, like not in the exact same way, but kind of like the way Tidus is the protagonist in 10, but like the whole thing is about like I know that Tidus is the protagonist, it's about him and his relationship with his dad, but like when you look at it and it's like, oh, this is Yuna's journey, not Tidus's journey. And that's how I kind of picture Balthier and why I could picture him being the protagonist, is he is there assisting the person on their journey.
Yeah, I don't know, because like
He's more of a protagonist than Ben, then that's all
yeah,
we
no,
give a shit
that is
about.
definitely true. But like with Titus as the protagonist, so I feel like as a player with Titus as the protagonist, Titus's protagonist goals, which is working out what the fuck's going on, because
Yeah.
he's like, I'm in this place, I don't know if I time traveled, I don't know where Xanarkand is, I kind of want to go home, but
Yeah.
also people don't like me talking about the place I came from, and there's some weird religious shit going on, and there's
Yeah.
this girl I like, and she's going to be married to this creepy weirdo, and I don't like that. A
Yeah.
lot of that stuff is stuff that I can identify with.
That's
Like
fair.
I can understand the things that are driving him forward.
Yeah, that's fair.
Balthier's things that drive him forward and not things that drive the plot
That's
forward.
fair. That's fair.
He wants to get paid. There's a Balthier line that fucking sticks in my head forever, which is like Ash being like, "I'll take you to our family's vaults. It has treasure of value you can't measure." And Balthier is like, "I just prefer the kind of treasure with the value you can measure."
Yeah, I like that. I remember that line.
And I'm like, that's this dude's whole thing is he just and he's assumedly supposed to have the Han Solo plot arc, right? Where
Yeah.
he's like, I'm just in it for the money, and then by Act 3, he's like, I'm gonna save you because I have an emotionally close relationship with you all now and care very much about your fates and the fate of the universe. But I never got that far through Final Fantasy 12. I don't know why. I remember getting past the like I'm Captain Bosch part. I'm Captain Bosch from Vonsenberg. Don't believe Ondor's lies.
No, you're Captain Bash Vonsenberg from Rabanasta.
Yes.
No, from is it? No, it's not Rabanasta. It's another place. But no, I get what you're saying. Why are there two? The only thing I am upset with by your list is the fact you haven't yet played World of Final Fantasy.
It's on my list for this year. So you can't see this. I will post it. Wait. I'll just do that. Whoops. Not this. Fucking mouse. Here we go. I changed the label on hyped to not play will play and put World of Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 16 in there.
Where did you link that? Where
I just posted it in the Discord.
in live show?
Yeah, at the bottom. I've just changed the green label has been changed to not played will
Oh,
play,
oh.
and I moved World of Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 16 into that block because I will play both of those games. On my 2022 list, World of Final Fantasy is the first week in October,
Sick.
so I am gonna play it.
Good.
The other Final Fantasy game that's not on this list because it's not main one is I really want to play the Wii Final Fantasy that I always forget the name of.
The which one?
The one on the Wii, it's like a Crystal
Crystal
Chronicle.
Bearers?
It's a crystal one, but
Crystal Bearers.
it's yes, the Crystal Bearers. That is correct.
Okay.
And then also you really like My Life as a King, right?
I love My Life as a King.
Yeah.
Yes, I will buy this.
So I have Crystal Chronicles: The Crystal Bearers on my list for like
Good.
at some point in the
I'll
future.
buy this.
What are you? What are you?
Oh, I'm playing Cozy Grove.
Okay.
It's like Animal Crossing essentially. So it's really easy to play and do other stuff.
Yeah, are we gonna start making a plan to play Stardew? Is that a thing that's gonna happen now?
I'm 100% cool with that. 100%.
I was watching that video of the person who opened up the farm to a bunch of people and then discovered that there's like 2 or 3 things that's been added to main Stardew Valley that we've not done yet.
Okay, yeah.
There's like a whole separate island area they've added that we've not done yet.
Nice.
And some other I don't know what the other thing was, but I was like, I haven't seen any of this. What is this? What is this? All right, well, it's 10:42. I'm done talking about Final Fantasy, at least for tonight. You know, you bring
Okay.
that franchise up, and everyone has opinions about it.
Yeah.
And
So I know that James loves the Final Fantasy Tactics series, and he loves Final Fantasy 12.
it's okay to be wrong about
Right?
things. Well,
Right?
yuck anyone else's yum. Some people need their really dull tactics games to be happy. So I'm gonna end the stream. Good night. Goodbye forever.
Yeah, goodbye. No more streams.
No
At
more
least not any planned streams.
Yep.